Hey everybody, welcome back to another video. I've been getting a lot of emails and comments asking for what all books I read or what I would recommend, so I'm going to be taking a break from the Serena project for a little bit and tell you guys about some of my favorite books. There will be spoilers, and I'm going to start this off with a flame war in the comments. Christopher Marlowe was better than Shakespeare. Fight me. Starting out, we have Dr. Faustus from the aforementioned Christopher Marlowe. It's a classic deal with the devil storyline, although it is more a deal with the devil's middle management. It is features a very big fall from grace from Dr. Faustus. Not only does he end up becoming much worse for having sold his soul, but he also ends up losing a lot of the ambition and drive that encouraged him to take this terrible deal. He thinks he can save his soul at the last minute by like, "Oh, I renounce the powers that I have gained," and he keeps on putting it off further and further. Uh, he was pretty good. He was the original Agatha Harkness. Now we have Slaughterhouse-Five from Kurt Vonnegut. It is about a man named Billy Pilgrim who travels up and down his own lifetime. He grows up, becomes a soldier, becomes an optometrist, gets abducted by aliens, and becomes unstuck in time. The book is not in that order. Kurt Vonnegut, as you'll see in the next recommendation as well, has this very interesting style where he will tell what happens to a character 120 pages before he actually shows the scene where it happens to a character. For example, in Slaughterhouse-Five, there's a character who gets executed for war crimes, and they keep on mentioning him. He's mentioned 5 or 6 times before the scene is actually shown, like, that's my good buddy Frank. It's a shame about what he did. He's dead 2 years ago? Or is it 20 years from now? Hard to tell. So it goes. Next we have Bluebeard. It is a story about an artist writing his autobiography. It deals with survivor's guilt and how to move past being a survivor of a great tragedy. For the main character, it is about him and his parents facing survivor's guilt from the Armenian genocide. Once again, Kurt Vonnegut has a wild way of storytelling where, because it is a first person perspective about an artist writing his autobiography, it is also a biography about him writing it. It's incredible. And no, the main character does not have a Bluebeard. It comes from the story of Bluebeard, where man gets a wife and tells her, the only thing you can't do is look in that door. If you look in that door, we're going to have problems. And he goes on business trip away for some reason. And she's like, man, I want to know what's behind that door. She opens up the door and finds the bodies of all of his previous wives. And he comes back from the business trip and she's like, hi, honey. You opened the door, didn't you? Moving on. The entirety of the Percy Jackson series. I am including the Kane Chronicles and Magnus Chase. They have inspired a love of mythology that I have kept ever since. Mythology is just so wonderful and incredible a subject to me. It's just the old stories that people used to tell each other gathered around a campfire, the old folklore of people that are long lost, but these stories are still getting echoed and told and reimagined and evolving, and I love it so much. If you want to look into different mythologies you might not have looked into before, I would go ahead and recommend the hero twins Hunahpu and Shibalanke from Mayan mythology, Neja of Shinto mythology, and Baba Yaga from Slavic mythology. Next we have Norse Mythology by Neil Gaiman. It is a retelling of a very popular amount of stories from Norse mythology, but it has Neil Gaiman's unique voice and writing style in it, which I very much adore. And I want everybody to remember this fact about Norse mythology. Loki is the mother of an 8-legged horse. Yes, that's right, the mother. Now we have American Gods. It is a story about a war between the old gods, like Odin, and the new gods, like technology and media. It is one of the books that I don't want to give any spoilers on, so we'll be moving on. Now we have the Sandman series. It is also Neil Gaiman. As you can tell, Neil Gaiman is one of my favorite authors. Now, this one might be a bit of a cop-out because it is technically a comic book series and not a true book, but it's got an amazing voice cast on Audible. Not sponsored, I just really like what they did on Audible. It looks at the role and function of the Lord of Dreams. The cast on the Audible production is amazing, with James McAvoy as the main character, Dream, Kat Dennings as Death. She pulls it off amazingly, and Michael Sheen as Lucifer. Next, we have The Time Machine by H.G. Wells. The only reason I include this is because it has the funniest frame story I have ever read. So imagine you and your friends, you're all sitting down, you're having dinner, and one of your friends goes, "Man, have you ever really thought about fourth dimensional geometry?" And everybody goes like, "What are you talking about, my guy?" And he goes, "Well, no, like, think about it. What if time is just another dimension that we could walk down?" Everybody's like, "Okay, what would that look like?" And he's like, "Hey, okay, so I've got a little model here, and I'm gonna turn it on. Watch closely." And he flicks a button, and it just disappears. And everybody goes, "Where did it go?" He goes, "Well, it's either the future or the past. I'm not sure. If it was in the past, we would have seen it before you brought it out. Not if it's going really fast." I'm going home. Bye. Next week, you get invited to a dinner again. He's like, "If I'm not back by 7 o'clock, go ahead and eat dinner without me." 8 o'clock rolls around, and you hear just this roarous sound coming from his office, and you see your friend walk out scratched and burned and mangled, and he goes, "No one say a word until I get food and booze." And then that's where the book starts. Now, The Alchemist by Paulo Coelho, it is a book devastatedly committed to the philosophy of carpe diem, where you are never going to be 100% ready for what life throws at you. Do it anyway. You have got a passion, a drive to do something, anything it could be, to go out and see something far away, that place you've always wanted to vacation to, or it could be you had a dream that you needed to go see the pyramids and you go out and do it. I love it so much. I love how dedicated this book is to Carpe Diem. And finally, we have The Martian. I listened to the audiobook and I knew it was going to be amazing when I heard Will Wheaton say the first line, "I'm pretty much fucked." It was incredible and surreal experience. Mark Watney is highly relatable, and botany has never been so interesting. And that's all the recommendations I have for you guys. Like I said, I'm still working on the Serena project. It is going to be a much longer format, and I hope you guys enjoy it. Go ahead and like, comment, subscribe, and hit the notification bell. Thank you all so much for watching. Have a good night.